Hey, what's going on, guys? I wanted to make a quick video because a couple of weeks back, I was doing a little bit of research as to possible solutions for an issue or preference that I had with my pressure washer. And I figured that I would convey that information or the findings that I came across in case any of you guys are running into the same issue or are looking at possible solutions for the problem that I kept running into as well. So figured that I would share the knowledge and hopefully some of you guys get something out of it. So the concern that I kept coming across, or the problem that I kept having with my Ego pressure washer gun, was that whenever I was using it primarily to detail the vehicles here at the house, is that especially when the machine was running and the pressure was at full go for the pressure washer hose that's connected to the gun itself, I kept coming across tangles and I kept having to extend it the length of the hose, which in my case, I'm running a Flexzilla 50-foot hose. So I had to extend it the length of the 50 feet and manually twist and turn it until it got as straight as possible in order to prevent tripping or prevent it from tangling or getting caught in certain areas or surfaces that I didn't want it to. So I thought to myself that there had to be a little bit more of a permanent solution to that issue. And this is essentially what it is that I settled on. Initially, you'll see the gun on the left is a McKillen's aftermarket gun. And at the edge of this McKillen's, you'll see that it already has a swivel connection that is installed on the gun. It's smooth, it's seamless, it's plug and play with any M22 adapter. And I thought to myself, that was perfect. When I was doing research, I kept coming across this McKillen's because it had great reviews, and it also indicated that it was a good entry-level gun. It wasn't gonna break the bank. I think I got it for about 30 bucks, 40 maybe off of Amazon. And every review that I saw said that it functioned as it was intended to. So I picked it up with having nothing but the highest of expectations for it, and I will say that it did not let me down, at least not as far as the gun went. I plugged it in directly to that 50-foot Flexzilla. You'll see here that the opposite end already has the quick connection, which will accommodate any of the tips that come with your Ego pressure washer, and I was off to the races. However, what I didn't realize or I didn't think about is when it came to actually using my Ego brass foam cannon, which you'll see I have here, I would disconnect the tips that came with my Ego pressure washer, and when I went to connect the foam cannon itself, it did not fit. And the reason for that is because a lot, if not all, of the aftermarket pressure washer guns, they actually use a 1/4-inch connection. And come to find out that it looks like Ego's foam cannon is one of the few that actually uses a 3/8 connection. Clearly, obviously, that will not function because it's just way too big for any of the 1/4-inch aftermarket pressure washer guns that you're coming across. And come to think about it, I guess it should have made sense because initially, one of the first modifications that I made when I first bought my pressure washer, thanks to some feedback that I got off of the Facebook Ego group, is you'll see here that there's a couple of parts that I made a little connection for, which actually eliminates the necessity for that lengthy wand that comes with your Ego pressure washer before you're able to connect one of their tips to it. Like I mentioned, I use my pressure washer predominantly to wash cars, and I just wanted a little bit more of a close contact approach when it came to actually installing those tips and being able to run them. So this eliminates the necessity for a wand. It clicks right into Ego's pressure washer gun, and the other tip has a quick connect for any of those tips. However, when I removed this guy, I wasn't able to connect, that's when I'm able to connect Ego's foam cannon. However, I kept coming across the same issue with the fact that it didn't have a swivel initially. So hence why I went with McKillen's. However, it was a little twofold because I had the swivel connection, but I lost the ability to be able to use Ego's foam cannon with the standard 3/8 connection that's installed. So I went two routes, and I wanted to show both of them to you in case you have a preference, in case you want to look into both and see which one you feel works best for your situation. But I actually came across this guy, which you'll see. It's an M. Mingle pressure washer fitting. It's a standard M22, which accommodates a lot of those quick connect adapters that are out there on Amazon. And the thread fits perfectly with, I believe it's a 14 millimeter thread. So it fits perfectly at the end of Ego's pressure washer gun. And you'll see here, let me see if I can twist it. But what that does is it gives you the functionality of the swivel connection while still being able to maintain Ego's 3/8 in connection, and thus being able to use the brass foam cannon that you probably spent a lot of good money on. So I went and I got this off of Amazon. I'll make sure and include the link to all of the parts that I'm covering in this video in my description in case you guys want to look into those. And I have to say that this, along with some of the twinkle adapters that I was able to get for the end of my pressure washer hose and my water hose, etc., it works perfectly. Once you get a little bit of thread tape in there, I haven't had any leaks, and the swivel functionality, even when the pressure is full go on my hose, it works flawlessly. So I'm able to have the swivel connection in order to untangle that pressure washer hose while still being able to maintain the 3/8 in connection, which thus allows me to use Ego's brass foam cannon. One of the other options that I did explore, which I opted not to go for, but I figured that I would let you guys know in case you want to look into it, is I thought to myself, well, what about form fitting this guy in order to accommodate those 1/4 inch connecting pressure washer guns, I should say. Say that you have one of these, which you know that there's a dozen or hundreds out there on the aftermarket, and some of them are pretty darn impressive. So say that you're happy with not using Ego's pressure washer gun, you have one that you know and you love that you want to form fit Ego's foam cannon to. So what I actually came across was a couple of parts that I thought about possibly installing, but I opted not to. This one right here, this is a Teicher reducer. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but what this actually is it has a 3/8 inch male connection, and then the other end is actually a 1/4 inch. So what I was thinking about doing is actually removing the original connection that comes with my Ego brass foam cannon. And obviously, since this guy is 3/8 inch male, it would connect directly to that foam cannon. And the reducer function on this end means that I'm able to put a 1/4 inch quick connect. And that's where this guy comes into play. This is a Ridge pressure washer coupler, which is specifically that. It's a 1/4 inch connection. So this would thread directly on the female end of this guy, and the quick connect end, which is, as I indicated, a 1/4 inch, that would be able to accommodate the Mikkellen's 1/4 inch pressure washer gun or any other third-party gun that has that same 1/4 inch connection. Like I mentioned, that's not the route that I decided to go for, but I did entertain the idea for a while, and I really do think that if I opted to go that route, it would have functioned flawlessly. But it actually just so happens that a couple of days after I got this M Mingle pressure washer swivel connection, I think this guy went on sale, which is Mikkellen's foam cannon. And as is the case with a lot of those aftermarket foam cannons, this actually already has the 1/4 inch connection on there. So what I decided to do was I figured I would give myself two fully functional, fully swiveling sets. This one is the 1/4 inch quick connect, which I use with my Mikkellen's 1/4 inch pressure washer gun. And I kept this one, excuse me, I kept this one as is, aside from the little modification that I made, which you can obviously connect and disconnect. So this one remains 3/8 inch, and so does my Ego brass foam cannon. Whenever I need to use this combination, I'm able to just disconnect the quick connection that allows me to use the nozzles at a shorter distance, and the Ego brass foam cannon clicks directly into my Ego pressure washer gun. I retain the swivel connection on both of them. It just depends in regards to which foam cannon I'm actually going to use. I think that would have been perfect for either or circumstance, depending on what you feel. I just didn't want to limit myself, which is what I felt that I would be doing by modifying this guy to a 1/4 inch. Because if you think about it, if you go that route and you use these two parts in order to make this a 1/4 inch connection, you're basically deeming the Ego pressure washer gun obsolete, because you're not going to be going and changing these tips whenever it is that you want to use that 3/8 inch connection that applies when you're using your pressure washer gun. You're going to be limited to the McKillens in my case, or any third-party gun that has that 1/4 inch quick connection. So I figured, in all honesty, I would just keep it as is. I have the pressure washer gun here for McKillens. I have the 1/4 inch connection that goes with my McKillens foam cannon. Swivel connection is fully functional for whenever I want to use this. And if I want to go the Ego route, I still have the full functionality of the 3/8 inch connection, which goes hand in hand with my brass foam cannon. And the only modification that I had to make was, as I indicated, going with the M Mingle pressure washer swivel connection. But again, these guys may have been viable options. Say that you have a gun that you know you want to make your primary and your only gun for your pressure washer, and you need to find solutions in regards to reducing this specific foam cannon from 3/8 to a 1/4 inch. Then in all honesty, this seems like this is going to be a very viable option. It's not going to be the option for me, but it very well could be for some of you guys. So I figured, hey, share the knowledge, and hopefully you guys are able to get a little bit of information off of that. If you have any questions, feel free and drop them in the comments below. I will do my best to read them. Hopefully this wasn't too convoluted. But again, in summary, the only thing that I did for my Ego pressure washer gun was that I went with this M Mingle swivel pressure washer fitting. Connects directly via quick connect to my pressure washer hose. This is the McKillens 1/4 inch connection that pressure washer gun that I purchased, and I use that exclusively with McKillens foam cannon, which also has that 1/4 inch connection. These are options if you're looking to switch Ego's foam cannon from a 3/8 inch connection to a 1/4 inch connection. But again, you're basically eliminating the ability to use it with your Ego pressure washer gun. Hope that helps, guys. Sorry if it was a little bit of a mouthful, but I figured somebody's going to get something good out of it, I hope. And if not, then if anything, at least it was a fun video to make. Like if you don't, if you appreciate the information, and I will talk to you guys on the next one.